there are a couple of things you need to be doing regularly in order to get charismatic. So, firstly, you need to start doing things at the right time. When it's time to do them, and don't postpone the things that are at the top of your priorities. Hesitancy makes you, it translates into other areas. So if you're hesitant and don't know what you're gonna do at home, it will spill over when you're out as well. So hesitancy is one of the biggest charisma killer, and it puts a blocker on yourself, so to say. You can't be living mushy and expect to close every situation that you're in. Which is why Harvey Specter is such a good example for that. He closes every situation that he finds himself in, but that is because he always does what needs to get done, and which is something he keeps on saying in the series as well, which is why he wins. So don't meditate in a messy apartment. Have your priorities straight and fill the 60 seconds, as Rudyard Kipling says in his poem Myth, with 60 seconds worth of distance run. If you do that, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, which is more. You'll be a man, my son. Yeah, Greg Plitt said, look at the small things. How are you doing the small things? Greg Plitt said, how do you know if you're on the right path? And that is you need to look at every small thing in your life. Are you doing them right, or are you doing them just good enough? Life is a game of inches, as Al Pacino says in Any Given Sunday. And these inches are everywhere around us, and we accumulate them throughout the day. And in the end, that is what's going to make a difference between winners and losers, between living and dying. Which is all from the speech in Any Given Sunday, which I recommend you watch. It's a great movie. When I was growing up and playing tennis, I would think that only hours spent on the tennis court would count towards being a champion. But I could have not been more wrong. And there's a nice scene in the Peaceful Warrior, which is another movie that I definitely recommend you watch, by a book of Dan Millman, and Nick Nolte plays the role of a sage, of the mentor in a way, and he's called Socrates in this series. And Dan he practices gymnastics, and Socrates, Nick Nolte's character, has come and watched Dan, the main character of the movie, and he watches him do a dismount, and he does it perfectly, and then he takes his shirt away and throws it kind of lazily into his bag, and Socrates he then tells Socrates, did you see it? Did you see how good I was? And he was like, yeah, you threw away your shirt sloppily. You used your towel and just threw it away on the floor. And he said, Dan, you practice gymnastics, I practice life. And if you become someone who practices life, you will become better at everything you do, even that being gymnastics, which you will see if you read the book or watch the movie. Another thing you need to be in the habit of doing is you need to be in the habit of leading, planning, taking on responsibility on yourself. If it's a bad night, if it's a bad event, you need to be the one that's responsible more often. Take on some load. I know it's nice to just be there sometimes, but you should be the one that's initiating conversation and planning and introducing people to each other, which is a great thing to be in the habit of doing. If you know two people and they don't know each other, be the one that introduces them. That is something that will go a long way in your journey. I'm going to talk a little bit about champions now, and I'm going to tie that together about how that's connected to charisma a bit later here. So champions aren't created necessarily; they're made. And everyday decision does not make you. Not only does it make you used to winning and the good work you've done by all those little things that we've talked about, but it also you're used to be the one that fights and claws for that inch in the arena. And when the car adds up, that makes the difference, as I said. And you need to be used, because there's for this fighter mentality in you, there's a counter force too, and that is the wolf that don't want you to win. So there's this story that you might have heard about this Cherokee mentor or guru or a leader. Now what's his title would be, but he talks to his grandson, and he says there are two wolves with everyone, and one is the one that's negative, that's the negative force that kind of wants you to feel sorry about yourself, pity, that wants you to just go home and let me have my toaster and my TV. I won't hurt anyone, just leave me alone. And that's the kind of loser mentality, for a lack of a better word. And the other one is the positive, the enthusiastic, the one that's full of stride, full of positive movements forward, full of action. That would be too. And the grandson asks, well, which wolf wins? And the grandfather says, the one you feed the most. And that is why this has to be a habit of doing the right thing, and not because one small action can lead to a bigger, and you need to be, and it's fine to not to, of course, you're not a robot. It's fine to not do everything always perfect, but you need to be in the habit of not having 2 bad days in a row. Essentially, that is what it comes down to. And even if things aren't going the way you want, you stand up and let life hit you, and you keep on charging like a bull towards the picador despite the sting of the blade. Charge forward, positive and for good. And this is how it ties back to charisma. It's because I want you to have the charisma that is stable and grounded. Not some gimmicks like repeating someone's name 5 times in a conversation, but rather being grounded and having that deep sense of belief in yourself, and not mumbling a bunch of regurgitated stuff and worrying about saying the right stuff. Because if a person is grounded, there is no right and wrong. He's there and he's present, and people step into his frame, and which is, there don't need to be a ego competition with like whose frame is, who's going to hold their frame, but you need to be, and it isn't like that with people who are grounded and secure, and people will just feel calm around you, which is but you will feel calm, which is the most important thing. It's not about them, it's about you becoming the vocal point of your own world. This is becoming more of that, and right things will come to you when you're relaxed. Second part is, don't make illusions about other situation, and take people as they are at their face value. Adler and Aristotle talk about this a lot. I've read it in a book called The Courage to be Disliked, which is a good book I recommend. And it is how the reason people are insecure, so to say, is because they put themselves on a ladder. Some people are worse, some people are better than me, and that is wrong, essentially. And you need to look everyone at eye level, and of course you should give prompts, and you should give props when they're due, and there's something we'll talk about too in a little bit, but you need to be good to everyone, and don't put people on a pedestal, and don't place anyone too high or too low. Matthew McConaughey said that his life started becoming much better when he became less impressed and more involved. And that's the tip: less impressed, more involved. That's essentially the 30 seconds of the video can be summarized into that, seeing everything at eye level. But that comes to my next point, which is when something is good, you need to express gratitude. You don't need to express gratitude with modesty. Roberto Benigni, one of my favorite actors and directors and comedians and writers, says it's a sign of great mediocrity to express gratitude with modesty. When you like something, give praise. But don't have that I see a lot of people who read it in self-help books, that you need to give big compliments and stuff, and then you just throw them out at random when they don't feel it. And if you don't feel it, the other person feels that it doesn't come from a sincere, honest point, and then it doesn't really make sense. It just makes the whole kind of conversation a bit more awkward. Compliment well when you feel like when you feel like you're seeing something that you really that really calls for it. And don't be afraid to. Beautiful people give compliments, rich people give support, athletes train you, happy people encourage, and successful people, as I say, give you support. So the next part is being present when talking to people. This is one of the most important part, and that is you notice how some people, when you talk to them, they speak like they're on autopilot. They're telling you the same conversation that they already told 5 people this week about, and you feel like they've just pressed the play button, and that they're not really there talking to you, but they felt some good feedback from someone earlier in the week about that story, and they just keep on saying different form, and they don't even listen to your response to that story. So that is so talk less if you have to, but mean what you say, and you must be present and think about the thoughts, which it makes this is just something it's a given, but as Simone well said, attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. It is the greatest thing a person can give another, and that is attention. That is their utmost attention, and don't be the person scanning the room when you talk to someone, but really be there. Even if they're boring, excuse yourself. Don't stay there for long, but talk with them while you're there. And which is similar to my next point, which is being awake, which is very similar to being present. But it's as a fun story, when Buddha walked in a forest, and he met a person that met another traveler, and this traveler, I think he was some nobleman of great position, but he saw Buddha, and he knew right away that something was different about him. So he came and said, "Are you a king? Are you a nobleman? Are you a prince? Are you an aristocrat?" And Buddha said, "No, I'm awake." So you see the effect of being awake has on other people, and they will feel it right away, and you will have a better life for it. And a lot of people think that you're introverts. Well, and I feel like there's a lot of conversation, introvert, extrovert, and all that, and many more people think that they're introverts than they actually are. I have this theory that you get exhausted, and you ask someone why they are an introvert, and they will say, because I feel exhausted when I talk to other people, but they don't feel exhausted when they talk to someone they can be comfortable around, their close friend or family member or so on. And that is exclusively because they switch up. They don't stay grounded. They start behaving according to someone else, and which is again straying away from your groundedness, or how we call it, your frame, which leads to nervousness and leads to kind of you depleting your battery in faster than you would. Don't switch energy based on people you talk to. You be the energy and anchor, and not the other way around. Let them adapt to your frame. The next step is you can't really fake much. You need to be someone engaging and being active in in your life. People sense stale energy. Your actions, your inaction, your hesitations, your inactions, your lethargy, your laziness. And that is not something that's attractive or charismatic to be around. Go out and conquer, no matter how small or how small your quest or feat might be. Try to go upwards and try to have and try to keep going up. As the great Gatsby said, my life holds sport, my life has to go like this. And it can go like this too. It doesn't have to be a straight up line, but setbacks are not important, they are necessary, and you need to just be used to taking action. Don't overanalyze. Don't hold back to act, jump before you feel comfortable. And the next one is a kind of more practical step that you can use, and that is to socialize early in the day. Preferably doing calm activities in the evening. If being around a lot of around people and parties and stuff, it adds to the adrenaline and all that. So it'd be good to have that early in the day as possible. And that is it will be first you will kind of get this social ball rolling, and you will be better for the rest of the day for it. And it's an example is when you go out to the club, and as soon as you talk to the first couple of girls, you will get better at talking to girls later on. So like if you should socialize early in the day, which is something that you can do in a coffee shop, or just get your coffee or work or whatever. Second, the next step is turn the heat down. Try to, wherever you are, not make that much of you're making it bigger than it is. As soon as you care too much, you will lose. And so don't put too much value on the external outcome. You do what you can, and let the chips fall as they may. Be direct in speech, say what you want. Be honest. In the end, be honest. The right person will find you. And when I mean person, I mean the right business opportunity, the right whatever. If you're grounded and honest, and you'll be surrounded by people of your own liking. And don't be fake and pretend. So what do I have here? So to summarize, now you know what you got to do. Go out there and live it. Stop waiting to become charismatic before you take action. Charisma comes from living, from taking action, from paying attention, from doing the little things at the right time, from being awake, from being honest, from being grounded. Now go out and tend your own garden. Thanks.